In a meta where everyone's going tall, why not just go taller? This is Scott from Fourth Location here with a pretty cool deck profile from our friend Thursday. He's going to be an upcoming guest on Series 6, so keep an eye out for that. This one is called Fastball Special. So what is the goal of this deck? The goal is to end with a giant Taskmaster or a cool Fastball Special Adamantium Infusion final turn. So on turn 6, that's where your 6 energy is going. It's either Taskmaster or the Fastball Special Adamantium Infusion combo. All of your moving and all your setup and things like that is going to take place before that. You're going to try to grow either a giant Human Torch or, as a backup plan, a giant Dagger, and then further leverage that power with your Taskmaster or your Fastball Special. So how do we actually do that? So turns 1 through 4 are mostly just setup. Like, you'll get some of your pieces down, like your Sparky, your Araña, your Hercules. Hercules is pretty key. And then turn 5 is your big turn, where you'll play usually Human Torch Iron Fist first, followed by Human Torch. You want to make sure Human Torch is the last card played on turn 5 so that you can copy it with the Taskmaster, right? So how do we actually get there? Let's give some example playlines, right? So you could maybe, for example, turn 1, you get your Araña down. Turn 2, you get down your Sparky. Turn 3, maybe you don't have all your pieces you have to dig, so you play your Crystal. Turn 4, you play your Hercules, going into that big turn 5, where you're going to play Human Torch. After your Iron Fist, activate the Araña, play the Human Torch onto the Hercules lane so that he can bounce out. Araña can bounce him back in, and he goes flying. And then all you have left on turn 6 is activate your Sparky to send him back into the Hercules. And then you play your Taskmaster onto the Hercules lane, because that's the one place you know your Human Torch is not going to be. And then you've got giant power in 2 different lanes. That's kind of an ideal playline. Sometimes you won't always get that. Another example of a playline you'll get is like Araña. Maybe you get your Madam Web out early. If you don't have either of those, you can get your Topaz out. But if you get all 3 of those down, then on turn 5 you can play Iron Fist. Make sure you play your Topaz on the right so that you can play your Iron Fist. Activate Araña to knock the Human Torch back into the Topaz. Topaz will move your Human Torch back center, where hopefully you've got a Madam Web waiting. And then on turn 6, you can use Madam Web to do that final move and finish up with Taskmaster or your Fastball Special combo. So it's about seeing what playlines develop in your hand for your big turn 5 move. Sometimes it'll involve Araña, Hercules, Sparky. Sometimes it'll be Madam Web, Topaz. Topaz is kind of a little bit more of a backup plan. Topaz is one of the trickier aspects of the deck. So she only really works if you have both of your 1-drops, so that you can do that move I described where she's on the right, you play your Human Torch onto her lane, Human Torch moves you out of her lane with the help of Iron Fist, Araña moves your Human Torch back in, and then she bounces him back to center. So that means on your turn 2, your ideal plays are Sparky or Madam Web. Topaz is would be your third choice there, or it's something you could play on a later turn, potentially. Another tricky aspect of the deck is Hercules. Hercules is really key for getting a ton of bounces around with this deck, especially with the help of Sparky. So oftentimes you'll want to do the playline I described, where you'll play Human Torch and then you play the Human Torch onto the Hercules lane so that Iron Fist bounces him out. Your Araña can bounce you back into the Hercules lane and he goes flying. And then you'll know that he's going to one of those 2 side lanes or one of those 2 other lanes. Or with Taskmaster on the last turn, you Sparky your Human Torch back into Hercules, play the Taskmaster onto the Hercules, because it's the one place you know the Human Torch is not going to be. Occasionally you'll have to gamble with the Hercules, but usually you can know generally where it's going to go. You can control it a little bit. You can know which lane your Human Torch is not going to go into, for example. But don't be afraid to gamble once in a while. One thing that's become a little bit trickier about these huge Human Torch decks recently is Fin Fang Foom. You don't want to go through all that effort and all those super complicated playlines that I described just for your opponent to slam a 7 energy Fin Fang Foom and just steal all your power and destroy you in that lane easily with a single card. So you try to get your Human Torch and Taskmaster in the back row now, which is a little tricky. It means you have to be a little more careful about where you're placing the Araña. You used to be able to just place the Araña kind of wherever. But now you have to think, I need 2 cards in my front rows so that I don't get eaten alive by Fin Fang Foom. So the deck is tricky to learn. You got to learn your turn 5 move playlines. If you've played a lot of Human Torch, big Human Torch before, like if you played Human Torch Tribunal before or Human Torch Taskmaster before, you should be able to do really well with this deck. Or if you're just looking for a new challenge, learn some new playlines, play some really fun plays, try this deck out. I think the Fastball Special Adamantium Infusion playline is extremely fun. It used to be we just had Torch into Taskmaster or Tribunal as our big final payoff, but now with Fastball Special Adamantium Infusion, you can slash down one lane, rebuild that power back in another lane, and it's a really fun playline. So it's fun, it's challenging, give it a shot.